Hi all, this is Marlon. I just want to introduce an amazing person who's one of my favorite buddies. Recently connected from all the way Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I would say is an Amazing Heart. So welcome to the Amazing Hearts interview and podcast series. I just want to introduce Joy Abdullah, who's a marketing guru, and apart from I guess providing thought leadership and a lot of congruence to whatever's going on right now and business and everything that is involved in sharing content, getting your message, getting your brand out there. So Joy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Marlon. It's a pleasure to be on Amazing Hearts, to be recognized as an amazing heart, to be on your podcast. So thank you. It's a delight to be here.
No worries. So yeah, Joy, thank you so much. And I've been waiting to do this interview for sure, because if from the first time we had a chat, I definitely had a very, very strong connection with you and wanted to share that with the community. And so do you want to start with maybe giving us a little bit of background of where you started, where you grew up, and maybe a little bit of who Joy is for everyone who are watching or listening in?
All right. The quick one-liner is going to be just go to my profile on LinkedIn, go to the featured section, and you'll get two small clips. One is called #WhoAmI,
Yep.
and another one is called #Me in 60 seconds. So if you don't want to hear this bit, go to my profile, you'll get it. That apart, I'll have to use the word diversity as much as I tend to stay away from it. I'm a British national. I'm a third generation Indian origin, British national, born in UK. And I spent my first 13 years of my life in UK, in Manchester, growing up. And in my early teens, the family relocated back to India. My father was in tea. And I've spent the next about 24 years in India, where I did my high school, my university education, my B school. I started my career in 1986 in advertising with J. Walter Thompson in India. And then in year 2000, I had an opportunity to relocate, to move into Malaysia as a base. And I grabbed that opportunity. I came into Malaysia. I'm still in Malaysia. It's 20 years living here,
wow.
working here. Yeah. So another 5 years, I would have spent more time here than in India. So why did I start off with diversity? It's because I'm a mini UN in my immediate family. I'm British. My wife is Malaysian. I have two young kids who are Malaysian, and I have two grown older kids who are in Germany and finished their education and working, who are Indian. So in my immediate family itself, we're a mini UN. We have diversity right there. So that's me. I have worked in corporate strategy, strategic planning, and marketing all throughout my entire corporate career. From 1986 till 2018 is when I hung up my corporate career, so to speak, the boots of doing a 9 to 5, and decided, that bug that we all get at some point in time. Hey, maybe I can be my own boss, sort of bit me.
Yeah.
And I've been having a beautiful journey. I'll use the word beautiful, that in spite of the pains and the learnings are just simply outweighing everything that one is going through. So again, it's a part of perspective, whether you want to take problems as obstacles or problems as, something challenging to go around. It's individual perspective.
Yeah.
But I've been having a beautiful journey over the last 2.5 to 3 years now. And that's it. I run two startups, one purely on strategy and innovation. And let me make a small caveat here. The innovation that we do, and it runs under a very famous vlog on LinkedIn called Create the Edge, with a dear friend and partner who's based out of Singapore, Sahib Yusuf Baksh.
Yeah.
What we do is we work on corporate strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy, and we use process improvisation for medium and large organizations to help them get their market traction, achieve their business goals, whatever it is. So that's one of the startups. We started it in towards the end, November of 2018, and it's going on. A year ago, about 10 months ago, because marketing has a special soft corner in my heart, I have a love affair with marketing that I think I'll take with me to my grave. With a dear friend and partner who's based in Sydney, Marlon, as you know,
Yeah.
with Nick Bendel, we started off something which started off as a blog, went off into marketing, strategic marketing and strategic brand communication. It's called 3-minute marketing. So what we do there is we specialize. Every week we put out marketing tips that any business owner, whether you're a solopreneur, you're a coach, you're an author, you're a small business, medium-sized, corporate manager, you can simply go onto our website. You can go onto our do a hashtag 3-minute marketing on LinkedIn. You'll get a tip. And separately, I drive strategic marketing thinking or development for mid-sized companies at the moment out in this region, which is between India and ASEAN. So working with a few clients on that. That's me. That's what I do. For me, life is marketing, where people would say that we are selling as soon as we are born. I would like to tweak that a little bit and say every person, everybody, from the business owner or the CEO right down to the tea lady or the window washer, is actually marketing for an organization. I play in that area. I don't play in the individual area. I handle individuals for businesses in terms of where their personal brands are concerned. Falls under a label called employee advocacy or employee influences. That's what I do. And yeah, thank you for the guru bit, but I shy away from that. I have to say that I consider myself a learner. It helps me to stay abreast of trends. It helps me to pick up technology. And well, in my career, I've seen technology go from electronic typewriters to our Microsoft Teams and Slack at the moment that we use. So I prefer to say that I like learning and putting it into practice and learning from that result of that practice. So if you're looking to have marketing that's different, and I know it's a very simple statement, but my sales plug is I flip your marketing. What I do is everybody in your organization does marketing. It's not a few people designated with the word marketing next to their designations.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I bring a different perspective, help you connect with your market, the people, and this is where it connects with amazing hearts. I get your business through your brand to touch an emotional chord in your business partner, customer, stakeholder, shareholder's heart. That's the brand community. That's what I do. That's my expertise. That's my forte. And there are many ways or channels of doing that.
Absolutely. I think well said. And, I think the real resonance when you had that first chat, I mean, we only spoken once before, right? So
correct.
I just felt like I know you straight away as soon as you, because that's my philosophy too in our team that we do is, so we call it actually hearts at work. So for
brilliant.
And our, like, for example, staff enrichment programs called BizTech Hearts, and it's got a heart with a tree and a lot of hearts on top. That's the logo for it. So I think, Joy, thank you very much, and thank you for sharing that. So can you maybe add a little bit more, and maybe give your perspective of that and what you've been observing and with your customers and prospects, etc.
Sure. Let me take it from the top. Marlon, you and I and people of our age band, you're young, and I love my age, so I'm not gonna make you feel
We're
weird.
both young.
We're both young. Yeah, I'm young at heart. See, business as we've known it, as we've learned it, is actually a set of processes and systems. All right. So if you go back hierarchically and historically, both ways, and let's go back to even 60s and 70s, go back as far as that and look how the transition of business has happened. It's actually been a set of processes that's become more and more efficient thanks to technology coming in, and people who've been managing those processes and technologies have then moved up the hierarchy of any business based on technical skills. All right. So
Yep.
here's the setting that we walked into. We've been carrying business through like this. We've had the dot-com, we've had technology revolution, we've had the Y2K millennium 20 years ago, and we walk in 2 decades back, and business has been continuing in the same way till we hit a first major China wall. What I call the China wall is actually the GFC, 2008, global financial crisis. The system cracks. That's the first sign that everything that we've been doing historically for the past 50, 60 years, something's not right somewhere. And I'm not going to get into that age-old debate of ethics and stuff like that. I'm just talking about a process and its system that is managed. The load on that process and its system had been so humongous that it just gave way. Number one. Now we enter 10 years later, 12 years later, we enter into a scenario where there's no historical record that teaches you how to manage in the scenario that we've all walked in starting 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a CEO or you're a team supervisor or you're just a simple employee, you are caught without a data set up here. And I'm using a little bit of jargon. I know what I mean is, as individuals, our experiences create information for our brains to give us at every scenario. So as we go over the years, why do we have 12 years of schooling? Why do we have 3 years of undergrad and 2 years of masters? Those structures have been made to give us certain information that we use as experience to do the action, do the work. So now come to leadership. And I'm surprised that you asked me, Marlon, because one of my client groups that I was working with beginning of the year came together simply out of conversations like this. There was about 20 of us from different parts of the globe talking, and it was not on LinkedIn. It was on Twitter actually, and the Twitter chat went into a WhatsApp group, and we were as the conversation just went, we were finding out that each of us were coming from different areas of the circle, but we were drawing down to one particular aspect, and it concerned leadership. We are all, the entire group is senior, 30 plus years of experience. I mean, the senior most has about 43, 44 years of experience. And one item came through. What does authenticity today really stand for? And I'm sure you're seeing this across all mediums and whatever we are reading. This whole storyline of authentic leader is, it's really playing out in so many ways that personally I've reached a point where I hate using the word authentic. It's become a buzzword. It's become a catchword. It doesn't stand for anything. It's like when you say marketing, everybody knows marketing. But when you start talking, you start finding out people are actually talking sales. People are actually talking digital. People are actually talking digital communication. They're talking brand. So everything gets muddled into that one word. Let's bring it home. Business owners, as we walked into this pandemic scenario and everybody had to start working from home, 5 years, or you're in the tech industry started work from home and remote working a decade to 1.5 decades ago, 10 to 15 years ago. And it's a known process where to keep project costs down, you take remote work. What you need is a technical skill. You don't need comm skill. You hit your project deliverables on time, boom, off you go. But all other industries, especially manufacturing, supply chain, they started, when they walked into stay at home, they had no backup. There was no crisis management plan. They had a crisis management plan, but from a PR perspective, not from an operations perspective. They had a fire, insurance hazard, all of that. So leaders were literally caught, what do I do? And this is where the shades of leadership and humanity, as I say, came forward. Many a leader stepped up to say, okay, guys, I don't know. We are facing a scenario where our partners don't know, our clients don't know, our customers don't know, we don't know. So there's one way we can do this. Can we get together and figure out what is it that we do? Boom. The result, why Zoom sort of, the stock prices of Zoom, how it went from February, March to now. The other side of the leaders were, they started and they kept using the same tools. So if you use a bullock cart on a national highway, you ain't gonna reach your destination. You're just gonna crawl to a certain point before the frigging cart and the bulls just give way, because you're using something that is not meant for that highway, period. Either you're gonna have an accident, you're gonna crack, whatever is gonna happen. And this is where leadership has come down today. It has become the single most critical element for any business, whether it's a small business owner, it's a solopreneur for self, it's Marlon, you running Bistec globally, me running a 5-man operation remotely, doesn't matter. Or it's Apple, Amazon, whoever you say.
Yeah.
Leadership has come down to a point which will make or break the business, because this is where a leader needs to step aside from all biases and conditionings that you've had. And I'm sorry to say, it's really hard when you've had 30, 40 years of that conditioning. You've got to step aside and you've got to identify who's Marlon, who's Joy, okay? Who am I?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, when you strip away the CEO, managing director, executive director, team supervisor, there is an individual, a human being. Who are you? What do you like? What's your interest? What is it about your work that really drives you? Because you know this data. We have about, what, 80%, 78% of global employed population disengaged with the organization.
Yep.
So that means something is not gelling between your own, what do you like to do, and your values to that of the organization. And leadership becomes very important here. What do you need to become is, you use the word vulnerable. Yes, you need to vulnerable, but not vulnerable from how we say, oh, Marlon, help me, I've got a problem, I don't know what to do. And then you're thinking, oh my God, Marlon's going to take advantage of me because I'm opening myself out. No, it's a simple dialogue which is, guys, I know it's my responsibility, but I'm reaching out to you because I don't know the answers.
Yeah.
And I believe if 4 of us sit together, we'll get the answer. That's my definition of vulnerability, which is actually clarity in communication, clarity in purpose, and inclusivity. So you make your team, you lead your team by making them feel they're valuable and they have something to contribute. You appreciate them. And together, I'll guarantee you, because we've done this work with clients, in a span of a week, you will have actionable ideas. Initially, the ideas that come out are, sometimes they sound really impossible. And I've actually had 2 clients who said, Joy, this is impossible to do. I said, fine, let's keep it on the board. Let's not throw it out, right? And then gone back to the guys who actually raised that idea. And I said, can you share with us how will you execute this? And you'll be surprised at how beautifully a process gets laid out. So I digressed. What happened is, all of this experience brought this group of us, 20 of us together, to actually form a commercial entity. And the commercial entity, as luck would have it, as we've just done the teaser launch from July 31st. Later today, we are doing the website launch. And Thursday, we are doing a so-called formal launch. And you'll see on my posts and profiles, it'll come out. It's all about leadership, where you find yourself, where you find the, sorry for the cliche, but you find the joy of yourself and your living. Because when you come from inside and you're actually very happy with who you are and how you are, you have a lot more to give and accept. And that creates a reciprocal scenario where you create an environment where people are very comfortable with you. Your likability factor goes right through the roof. When you're likable, people come to you like a moth gets attracted to, fire or flame. They come to you, there's a magnetic connection. You will have meeting of minds, or you will not have a meeting of minds. You won't have anger and disagreement and all those other negative emotions. And that leadership facet, this entity is delivering through various, there's about 14 coaches involved from various disciplines in that entity. I'm involved from a marketing leadership perspective. What does it take to be a really good marketing driver? And it all distills down to that one thing where you're already doing. How does business connect to the heart? Because today, as we come out of the pandemic, I strongly believe, and I'm seeing it happen, you have to have an emotional connection through your brand as a person to your customer.
Yeah.
If you go in with a sales pitch, I'm sorry, you're dead meat. You're not even going to get a reply. You're just going to get a delete out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Totally.
If you get onto a call and you try to pitch, somebody's going to cut you short. Just put up the hand and say, hey, thank you very much. I don't need this. Boom. Because people are have learned the value of time. B, people have actually learned over the last 4 months how nice it is to actually spend time with their loved ones. And yes, there are lots of abuse and problems and stress and anxiety staying at home, but you cannot take away the value that kids have had by having their parents at home, that parents themselves have had by being able to change their schedule to work together. Okay. I mean, I'm working as an advisor into a unit concerning domestic abuse, where bringing in this flip side to say, can you guys just simply give me one thing that you've liked about each other in this 1 month? Yeah, you hate each other because you're always in your hair. You're in an apartment. But give me one thing. And it flipped the conversation, and a counselor took over from that point. And I'm happy to say that in my very, very, very micro limited way, the people who were at loggerheads today have actually found a newfound purpose through their kids and through their life together. So that's the flip side. And
Amazing.
business,
Yeah.
yeah, the leader has to act like that. The leader has to lead a family. And what I mean by a family is that we are coming out of stay at home and work from home. When you bring that back into work, bring your employee is not a number. Your employee is not a cost. It's a human being.
Yeah.
That human being has a family. So I've just put out some tips also on this, on how to create family moments. Like you said, you've got, the heart tree with heart logos on top. It's business of the heart.
Yeah.
Lead with your heart. In order to lead with your heart, you've got to find your real self, as I call it. In order to find your real self, you need coach, guidance, mentor, talk. Doesn't matter whether you're 70 years old, 50 years old, 30 years old, 20 years old. Find somebody who guides, who is able to show you your own solutions, because everything is within us. And that's the leadership going forward that's required. It really means value the person opposite you as a human being. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. That's the best way I can quote. And it's literally that best sentence. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Summing it up, Marlon, it's like, step aside from the processes and systems that we've known for 30, 40 years. Look at yourself as a human being, look at your team as a human being, and just reach out to say, how can we do this? That's all the vulnerability you've got to expose. Boom, you're done. That's the connection that happens.
Yep. Very good. So let's move on to our like a second step of our thing, and this is a little bit more about you. So what I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, if you're okay. So
Sure. Ask anything you feel like.
So Joy, this one's like, can you tell me or go back and think one of your favorite childhood memories and where, like, and give me a bit of background on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. One of the most favorite memories I have is during my high school years. I think I was in grade 10, which was the O-level year.
Yep.
And I used to be in a boarding school. It's an American international school called Woodstock, up north of Delhi in India, up in a small hill station called Mussoorie. And I used to be a prolific sports student, so to speak. So I was in like 3 out of 6, 7 school sports. And one of the favorite memories I have is of my football coach, because when it's monsoons out in the subcontinent, you've experienced it, waking up at 5 a.m. and there's a drizzle to go down to the sports field for practice. It's still cold. It's not chilly cold, it's not nippy cold, but it's one of those very damp cold where, whatever you wear, even if you're wearing a slick, a waterproof on top, your vest and boxers and briefs and jeans and everything, shorts, just feel damp and wet. And you feel really, ugh, it's like horrible. And why is it a favorite memory is because I remember how my coach used to motivate us. Every morning, we were about 18, 19 of us boys. And the peculiar part of that he used to do is he knew what each student really liked in terms of, a candy, a sweet, a popsicle kind of a thing. And 3 times a week when we would have our early morning 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. soccer practice, and the
Yep.
sun would come up only by about 7:15 or so. Uh, he would go down, he would take 15 minutes, he'd say something. He would every day start with, "Thank you guys for waking up to be here. That means the game means something to you. And I'm going to make sure you guys turn out good." And then he says, "To make sure you'll have the energy to play, here's something." And I still treasure that. I still treasure that as a, whether it's leadership or it's just somebody caring, because I was what, 15? Yeah, I was 15. I used to miss my parents. Even though been in boarding school for a long time. So when somebody came from that paternal or a elderly care aspect, you would automatically bind and bond to him. And I was very close to my coach all the way through till I graduated. And and I appreciate, he told me, he said, "You're good, but you won't make it to pro league, just focus on a career." So that's one of the memories.
He's
I
honest
digress.
guy.
Yeah, very honest. He was very good. And the other one I have is, it's the memory is
Before you move on to the other one, I want to say that your coach, remember my program called Make a Day Brighter? So
right.
He
Beautiful.
basically literally is that, you know what I mean? So he made all the people's days
Awesome.
by just doing something small or, big, what doesn't matter, but it was thoughtful, you know what I mean? So, and everyone remembers that. Everyone remembers those moments. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second one I want to share is cut. Much later, I was coming out of B school. I was 23, going on to 24. And that was the first year, as my batch was graduating, that we had J. Walter Thompson as an ad agency coming on campus to do recruitment. They were selecting students to be sent to their office. And I specialized in finance. My minor was marketing. So all fine day, I got a call, and the head of marketing calls me and says, "Hey, you're up day X, time Y to meet the GM. Please go for this interview." And I'm like, "Sir, excuse me, but marketing is my minor, and this is an ad agency, and advertising is just one paper in my entire course. I don't even know if I can spell it properly." And this is what he told me. He said, "Listen, I've known you for 2 years. I've seen your grades. I've seen your performance. I've seen your interactions. You're barking up the wrong tree if you think you're going to be wearing a pinstripe suit, sitting behind a desk, doing mergers and acquisitions." I was planning to becoming a banker, going into Forex and M&A and all of that. My father was a chartered accountant. So the career choice, Asian families, is dictated by the father kind, so to speak. And he said, "Trust me, you are cut out for marketing. So take my advice and go there." I really respected him. He was a highly erudite, intelligent man. I went for the interview. I was just myself. The GM hit it off with me. And before I knew it, I had all of this. Hang on, I'm just trying to convert in today's currency my salary, which is about about a little less than $300 a month. I think it would be about 260, 270 on current exchange rate value.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I got this job, I got this money. It's like, so I went back to the gentleman and he said, "Don't make a mistake. Don't change your career line. Spend the next 4 or 5 years in the ad agency, move out to sales, go back into ad agency. You have all the makings of being a top-notch professional." It stuck with me. I loved him. I went to work, management trainee, duck takes to water. Next time I picked up my head, it was literally 2007. I had spent 20 odd years, 19 odd years in advertising, across advertising agencies, across the subcontinent. I had worked in various accounts, various industries, various cities. And I realized in 2007, I'm done. I've done everything that I could. And that career choice, putting me in there, why I value that memory is somebody saw something in me at that point in time that I didn't see in myself. And today, the gentleman is no longer there, but I really thank him, because where I am doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't be doing this if that choice hadn't occurred then.
Yeah.
So that's the second memory I really treasure a lot.
Absolutely, that's beautiful, and yeah, God bless that person. So
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
I get a chance to talk to you also because of that, you know what I mean? So I think
True.
yeah. So on that point, I think what I say is that always be mindful of the impact that we creating, because it could be I don't know, million people. So, so that's why I think we need to do absolutely what we feel like is to help and change and make things better always. And so I call it connecting the dots backwards. So always with my team, I'll sit down with them and say, okay, guys, so or girls, forget about today. I just imagine it's 2030. Okay, do you think this particular thing that you're worrying about is gonna matter? The answer is no. Answer is no all the time, right? So I'm like,
Yep.
so understand the possibility, understand the impact and the value that you're creating to yourself, to your families, to everyone else. So this particular thing is a little pin drop in that, so deal with it and let's move on.
Very true.
And everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, don't need to talk about it anymore. Let's go and sort this out." So it's about that. And I think when we see that happen, and for me, I have similar stories that we talk about actually, but that's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
What's the last book you read?
Oh, you got me there. I haven't. No, you really got me there. It's been okay. From April, I haven't had the pleasure, or I have not made my schedule to give me time to read a book.
Mhm.
For the only reason is there's been a lot that's been happening at my end between work and self in terms of change. So
Yeah.
kids have had online school and managing them and everything. So I really haven't read a good book in the last 3 months. But recently, a dear friend of mine put out a guide. It's on Amazon on how to create your social media accounts and everything. And he had written into me to do a book review for Amazon. And by virtue of that, I happened to read that book. God, it's outside. 20 social. It's a simple. Yeah, it's a simple. It's a Carl E. Wright. Shout out to Carl. He's written few books, but it's a beginner's guide to how you can set up your social media account and what social medias you should look for. So that was the last one I read, to be very truthful, because I had to read the book in order to write the review. That's about it.
So the last one I have is what is your favorite word?
Sounds familiar. Is it a question, or is that a
No,
new book
it's
that
a
you're writing?
question. Yeah, what's your favorite?
Okay, I'll tell you why. What is my favorite? No, Nick and I just did a podcast on this issue of word, which will come out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What's my favorite word? Word itself is one of my favorite words, because word is an acronym to me.
Yeah.
What one really does. So, you have this walk the talk. We have this phrase, walk the talk. That's where word comes in. As an individual or as a brand, personal brand, product brand, service brand, what you say and what you do need to be aligned. So word is one of my favorite words, because WORD, what one really does, that's important to me. I take it to my clients, I do it to myself. So that's one of my favorite words.
Very good, very good. So yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic. Anyway, anything else you want to add to people who listen right now?
No, I think okay. I don't have anything to add, but I do have a small little recommendation, which is, if you look at every day when we wake up, we are, we have circumstances that come during the course of the day, from the morning when we wake up to the night when we go to sleep. So the choice of how we take those circumstances is up to us. And choice is the only intelligent differentiating factor between humans and all other mammals. So the suggestion I have is, start valuing this ability to choose. And when you feel you have difficulty or you're in a dilemma, take help, which is reach out to somebody. Everybody has somebody to talk to. Even if you say, I don't have anybody, you have the person on the street, just go out and say, hey, this is happening. What's your 2 cents worth on it? It's not that you have to take and act on it, but it just helps you think your own thoughts through. That's the suggestion I want to leave with. Why I say this is because I find more and more people, this is a bit of a harsh statement, but I find people operating on autopilot. Okay. And when you operate on autopilot, you're just operating on a cognitive level and you're reacting on what's the stimulus, but you're actually not stepping back into your intelligence and observing what that scenario is and coming from that perspective. So I'd really recommend that all the stress, anxiety, and everything that this pandemic has created, if you can just disengage for a bit, take a breath, talk to a couple of people, exercise that choice, because you'll have options. And of course, when you have too many options, you get spoiled for choice, but use that choice. That's the differentiating factor that makes us all unique. That's it. And thank you, Marlon. I'd love being on the show of yours.
Thank you very much, Joy. And, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, Joy, for, to, get assistance in the things that we talked about, can you share your details here?
Sure. Reach out to me straight on 3minutemarketing.biz. We have a contact over there. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And in case this stays on, my links and my contacts are available on linktree/Joy Abdullah. That's linktr.ee/Joy Abdullah. All my links are there. LinkedIn is the best way and easiest to get in touch with me. Always connect. No worries.
Absolutely, and I think we'll put your details in the post anyway, so that anyone wants to, they can get in touch. Thank you very much, Joy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You can get the link, Marlon, from my LinkedIn profile. It's there.
Absolutely.
On the contact info.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, and
thank you.
Yeah, God bless.
You too.